I had no idea what I was doing when I started making videos for my business. But 7 years later, and nearly 1,000 videos under my belt, I've learned exactly why business owners need to start making video right now. And today, I want to share with you all of the lessons that I learned. Lesson number one is that we all start from zero. We all start from the same place. And look, you might say to yourself, well, no duh, dude. But here is what's important. I had absolutely no background in film, in video, in cameras, audio, lighting, nothing. I knew nothing about it, right? All I knew is that I wanted to create videos for my business because I had been following people who had been doing it and they've been successful. And if they could do it, I thought that I could do it, right? But I thought at the very beginning that everyone needed to have some kind of skill in it, right? You need to have some kind of background in order to do it at a high level. But I'm proof that you don't, right? And there's so many other thousands and millions of creators maybe who had no previous experience with it and they had become successful. The only thing that I had done up until that point in my life was take photos with my phone. That's it, right? So I want to really drive this home to you because so many people think that you need to be perfect to get started. You need to have everything in place. You need to have the fancy camera, all of the audio, the perfect lighting, the perfect this, the perfect studio. Look, you don't need any of that to create valuable video content now for your business that is going to connect with the right clients. You don't need that. All you need is this, your phone. The camera on your phone and the microphone on your phone are pretty dang good, right? They're actually really good. And if you want to be very simple in your approach, that is all you need. And look, I know it's going to feel scary, right? It's something new. It's something that you haven't done before. But even if you have, right? Even if you've made 100 videos, this video is still for you because you know what it's like to be in those early stages, to not know what you're saying and to feel awkward. And you know what those early videos are like. And what I did was I just picked up this phone and I started talking into it. And the video itself was absolutely terrible. It was terrible, right? But I did it. I was successful. I told myself that I was gonna do it, and then I actually did it. And that was the catalyst for me. That propelled me to make 1,000 videos within the next 7 years. And as awkward as it is, as scary as it is, you just need to start. Stop trying to talk yourself out of it. Stop believing that you need all of these fancy things to do it. You just need to commit to it. That is the first step. You need to commit and just make your video. Just make your first one. Make it messy. I don't care what it looks like. You just have to do it. It's okay if the video sucks, okay? It's fine because you're just starting out. And once you just start and you make the first one, and then the second, and then the fifth, and then the 10th, you're going to get better every single time. The next important lesson that I learned was being inconsistent. And you might say to yourself, that makes no sense at all. How can inconsistency be something that you learn from? Well, here's the deal. I didn't post a video every single day after I made that first one. I wish I did, right? If I could go back in time, you know, you always hear that. If you could go back in time, what would you do? If I'm strictly thinking about making video for my business, if I could go back in time, I would tell my younger self with more hair, hey, do this every day. Do this every day. Don't be inconsistent, be more consistent, right? Because if you do it every single day, you're going to get better at it faster. But here's the thing, and this is like a huge lesson that I learned from inconsistency, is eventually I started to see the patterns that I was running into. And they're bad patterns, right? Because I would make a video and then I wouldn't do something for days, weeks, or months. And then I would reconvene in my head and think like, oh man, I gotta like do another video. Like I gotta get back to this. So that inconsistency that was constantly going on in my business led me to start realizing that I have to be more consistent. Now, if you're more consistent from the start, obviously you're going to realize that much faster than I did. But I started, right? And even though I did it every few weeks or every few months at the beginning, the inconsistency really started to help me understand, like, I need to do this. I'm watching people in my industry do this, and they're getting a lot of clients. They're selling at a really high level, and that's what I want my business to look like. And here's what's also cool that happened early on is that people started to notice, right? Because you think to yourself, well, no one's gonna watch this anyway. And that may be true, but the more you do it and the more video content you put out there, the more people actually start watching. You know, and it could be your mom or your dad or your brothers and sisters, your wife, your husband, but people are watching. And you start to get a little bit of feedback. And that's really important, you know? And when I was getting feedback, at first, you might look at it like people are attacking you. You know, they're saying this and they're criticizing you for that. But if you try and reframe that and say, hey, look, they're just giving me feedback in their own way, then you're going to be able to take that feedback and apply it to the next video, because they're saying something in there, right? Like, you can take something from what they're saying and apply it to the next video, right? They might come off again in a mean way and you're gonna get your feelings hurt, but there's always something that you can learn from it. But when you get that first reach out from a potential client and they say, hey, I saw your video, that's ecstasy, man. Like, for business owners, when we put so much time and effort into something and someone actually notices it and they reach out to us and they want to work with us, that is everything. And when that happens, that's going to give you that spark to keep moving forward. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to present, right? Like, you just need to do it over and over and try and get 1% better with every video. Look, if this is clicking for you and you want to join my free community where I get to go much deeper with more information that's going to help you with your transformation in creating videos, all you gotta do is click that link in the description and join. And again, it's completely free. The next lesson that I learned was consistency, right? So there was a period of time that it clicked. And I believe it was around 2022, something like that. I mean, even like, you know, when the pandemic started, I was making more video, trying to reach more people. But there was a point there, I believe it was mid 2022, where everything really started to click. And I started to become very consistent. I stopped just dabbling and I started picking a niche. And unbeknownst to me at the time, I started learning more about storytelling, which is one of the most fantastic skills that you can learn as a business owner when it comes to creating video content. I'm gonna go very deep with storytelling tactics and information on this channel as well. But that's when things really started to take off. When I started really committing to the craft of making videos and picking niches. Like, I've changed niches more times than I can even remember, right? Like, my mind goes in all different ways, and like, I'll do this and it'll work, and then maybe it won't work for a little bit, so I'll change niche, right? So even though I stopped like dabbling with video and I started getting very consistent with video, it still took time to really niche down. And I will say this, if you're in the early stages, make sure that you commit to doing something for at least 6 months. At least, that is the minimum, okay? 6 months. If you're doing the same thing for 6 months and you're consistently putting out great videos and you're doing 2-3 videos a week for that amount of time, if you're doing it right, if you're following all the, the right things and the right information, then you're going to be successful. You're going to reach the right people. But if at that 6 point mark or the 6 month mark, if you're not really getting any feedback, there's something that you're doing that's wrong, right? And if that niche doesn't feel right to you, then you can choose something else. But please at least try and commit for 6 months, right? I wish I would have done that. I really wish that I would have sat back and said, I'm gonna do this. I actually did, I said that, right? But then I didn't follow it because I got squirrel brain. Don't have squirrel brain, commit to it and stick to it. And here's what I really want to drive home to you. Consistency isn't just about posting a certain amount of times per week or per day or per month. It's about being intentional with your message. Consistency has so much more to do with your message than the amount of things that you post. Like I just mentioned, being niched down in whatever you're talking about and doing that constantly, saying the same thing in different ways over time, that's true consistency. That's what you need to focus on as a business owner, because whatever you're selling, whether it's a physical product or it's a service, right? And whatever you're doing, whatever you're selling, you need to say it in a way multiple times, like the same thing over and over, but you just need to reframe how you're saying it, right? Like I have different content pillars, different content buckets, different playlists, whatever you want to call them, but it all leads back to the same thing, and that's creating video content that connects and makes you more money, right? I just have different ways to say the same thing. Everything changed when I treated video like a part of my business and not just marketing. It was and is now to this day an investment, and it is what I do at a high level, and that's what I'm trying to teach you as well. The next big lesson that I learned, and this is when it all changed for me, is when I decided to actually hire a coach. And I hired a coach specifically for YouTube because I absolutely love YouTube, and I highly suggest that you start a YouTube channel as well. But my mission is to help small business owners create content that connects and makes them more money for any platform, right? You can do it for Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or LinkedIn or YouTube or whatever you do, right? But you need to work with somebody that can help you. Hiring a coach is an investment. It is not an expense. If you look at it like it's an expense, then you're not going to treat it like it's an investment. If you invest time and money and effort into something, you're going to really commit to it. But if you're just like, oh, it's just another expense, right? Oh, I don't have the money to do that. If you approach it like that, then you're not going to truly commit to it. When I hired a coach, not only did I learn about tactics, right? Like how to follow certain playlists and how to make great titles and how to make great thumbnails, but it actually opened my eyes and ears to things that I had never thought possible when it comes to creating video content. I never thought it was possible to create this business, Clear Voice Media, that I'm talking about, that I'm talking to you about. I didn't think it was possible to create online digital products, right? I didn't think it was possible to be paid for the videos that you put out, right? There are so many things that I just didn't know that I may have never learned if I didn't hire a coach. So a great coach is going to help you with, creating great content and focusing on what kind of videos to make and what kind of platforms to use. But here's the deal. They're going to also help expand your mind beyond what you already know. That is what a great coach does. And that's why it is one of the most important lessons that I've learned. And I highly suggest that you hire someone as well, because you don't need to do it alone. But you do need to be honest about what's not working. And if you have a coach or if you have a community that you're a part of, right? If you're not ready for one-on-one coaching yet, join a community of other like-minded small business owners who are doing what you're doing that can help you. Because you don't want to do this alone. It's going to feel impossible if you do it by yourself. I've tried it. I've been there and it doesn't work. You need to find a community or a coach, whatever it is, but focus on finding someone or being a part of something that they're all doing the same thing. You are working with your coach. Your coach has already done it. They've been there and they can help you as well. The next most important thing that I learned is that helping others is the way to approach video content for me personally. Now, one thing that I was so unsure about when I was starting Clear Voice Media is I haven't been, I haven't actually helped thousands of clients, right? Because you hear all kinds of information. If you're building a marketing business, and I see myself as a video marketing strategist, right? Or video marketing coach, someone that can help you take your industry, apply the things that I've learned, and create content for that that's going to bring in the right clients. Now, it's difficult for me, right? Because I'm at the very beginning, early stages, right? I'm starting another business from the ground up, which I've already done before, and I've already been successful, and I've already made 7 figures in my real estate business, and now I'm taking everything that I've learned along the way from making videos and packaging that into something that's easily understandable that I can help other people do as well. And again, this is not something that I ever thought that I was going to do. When I filmed that first video with my phone 7 years ago, I never thought that I'd be sitting here today making this video. And that is the power of creating videos for your business. And that's why I believe that every single business owner, small business owner, needs to focus on making videos. Because not only will it help you get clients, but it's going to help you in ways that you have never experienced before. I had a conversation with my chiropractor yesterday. She knows what I'm doing, and I just talked to her about it, right? Because I really appreciate what she does. I really appreciate that she's a small business owner. And I said to her, are you going on any vacations this summer, right? And she is the ultimate practitioner. She's in the business every single day. She's at the office every single day working with clients, right? She's like, yeah, I'm going to go away on 4th of July weekend for a long weekend. And I was like, that's great. That's great that you can do that. And then I started talking to her more about creating video content because she has done it before, right? She's made videos. She puts them on Instagram and Facebook. She does pretty well with them, and it actually brings people in. And I said, that's the power of creating video. Not only can you bring people in, but you can apply this and create a YouTube channel where you can be that voice for the people that you're trying to attract, the clients you're trying to attract. And you can make another business just off of video content where you don't have to be in the office practicing 6-7 days a week. You want to stay up to date, right? And you want to know what you're doing and talking about. So maybe you only practice 2 days a week, 3 days a week. And the other days you focus on creating a lot of content that's going to create like a separate business from it. And most people do not look at it like that. They do not see the real value in creating videos. All they think about is like, oh, I got to create videos to bring in clients. No, like you're creating a legacy. When you're making videos, you're literally creating a legacy. People are going to watch this 10, 15, 20 years, 30. My kids are going to watch my videos in 30 years, right? And they're going to see the passion that I brought, the empathy that I brought, and how much I really love what I'm doing. And that is invaluable. Yes, it'll bring you monetary value, but the legacy that you build from it and the years of content that you put out that can be seen in decades from now, that's powerful. And that's something that almost no one ever talks about. I'm really glad that I got to make this video, and I want to invite you in along the way, and I want to hear your feedback, and I want to help you in the best possible way. So make sure you comment and let me know what you need further clarification on, what you want me to make videos about when it comes to video, content specifically for your small business. Just let me know. Put it in the comments, and I'm looking forward to chatting with you.